Welcome. In this video, we're going to talk about, how to get more customers and clients to your event business using digital marketing tactics. So stay tuned and check it out. But before we get started, I'd like to just take a moment and say, it takes a lot of courage to start a small business, to admit that you need support and help. So, I applaud you for that, and just want to say thanks for taking the time and to do that. So it says a lot about who you are. Anyways, so let's get started, not waste your time. So how is digital marketing going to help you grow your event business? And, a lot of people ask me, what is even digital marketing? What is it? How is it relevant to me? It sounds like a fancy buzzword that people are throwing around these days, but what is it? And I think the most relevant and efficient way I can say what digital marketing is to you is that it's about building an online system or ecosystem that builds and supports your business, but more importantly, builds trust between you and your consumer and your customer. Okay? It's an online system that builds trust so that they can trust who you are as an event planner and event promoter, and want to buy and purchase your service and support your business. And I think that's the best way I can describe it right now. So all that being said, let's dive into the next part, which is, what does a digital ecosystem look like? Okay, and I'm going to bring up a graph right now so you guys can see it. Here's the graph. I'm a big graph guy. I think graphs are super useful and helpful when, conveying a point, so I like to use them. So here you can see what's called a digital branding strategy, and this is essentially what your ecosystem is going to look like from a digital marketing perspective. Your brand is going to be your filter, filtering out, content that isn't relevant to your business and isn't attracting your ideal consumer, because at the end of the day, we're looking to attract a singular group of people who are your ideal consumer that convert faster, make you more money, and are just easier to work with. Okay? And to do that, we need to start in the content, data, and analytics space. Now, this can seem overwhelming. I understand that. But don't worry, we're going to break this down and do it step by step so that you can build your ecosystem over time without overwhelming yourself, okay? So the first thing to look at is content. And this can be something as simple as capturing video and photos about what makes you as an event planner so special, or an events expert so special. It could be past events, could be, testimonials, could be whatever, on your phone, and just capturing that content. You don't need a fancy camera to start. You do, however, need to start capturing content right away, though. The next is the data. So finding out, what areas, what events you specialize best in, what businesses you work best, in planning events for, and then taking that data and putting some analytics and getting more granular, saying, I work really great in the wedding event space, which is wonderful. I noticed that I get a lot more, weddings booked in the fall than I do in the rest of the year. So that's where I'm going to concentrate most of my efforts. And then from there, there's a lot of branches on this digital branding strategy and marketing graph, but I like to start with a website. I think a website is key. A lot of people say, I don't need a website, I just need good social, and I don't agree with that, and I'll explain why. But I think a website's key because it does a few things. One, it builds authority immediately between you and your customer. It identifies your pricing, it identifies your availability, it identifies your location, and it identifies your services. And it becomes an information hub that you can build over a set period of time and scale up with your business. And, with how you want to grow your business, it's very key to have a website, especially when we get into SEO and email. So after you have a website, you are going to want to get at least some very basic SEO so that people know, so that you have some sort of listing on Google or Bing or Yahoo or whatever search engine you're comfortable with, so that people can search you up and say, okay, cool. From there, you're going to want to end up building your social. And now this is where a lot of people have the most fun. They love social, and I don't blame them. And this is where you're going to use content to tell your story, and telling your story is very important. What I will advise you, though, is rather than do a ton, my goodness, of different social media channels at one. Focus on one and build up, rather than overwhelming yourself. So that means, either start on Instagram, start on TikTok, start on YouTube, and then build up. And that's going to be key. Telling your story on social and it's engaging people in the right way, we want to direct them back to your website to either A, buy your service, or, realistically, because we haven't earned enough of their trust yet, sign them up for something so that you can come back and talk to them again and procure more leads. And that's where email comes into play. So now they're going on social. They're saying, hey, I love this story. This person's really cool. They got this really funky event. I'm interested. They click the link in your bio. They go to your website. That builds authority. That adds to the trust. And now, they're like, well, I really like their story. I'm starting to trust this person, but I need more. I'm not ready to hand over my hard-earned money just yet. But I will sign up for an e-blast. I will sign up for a newsletter. And from there, you just generate content like 5 wedding planning tips, 5 corporate events that you didn't know about, etc., to just keep their attention, right? And then you always have a call to action in these e-blasts. And then from there, it's about, and I think this is something that is overlooked in the digital marketing space, is conversation marketing, okay? This is a big one, especially in events. Conversation marketing. So now you have their trust, you have them captured. Now you have to start facilitating conversations online, creating Facebook groups, answering comments, etc., to get them talking to you and knowing you, not just your content, but you specifically. And that's what's going to rapidly elevate that level of trust. And then once you've gotten through that, once you've had a few conversations with them online and offline, it comes to the last little bit, which is, they're probably buying from you at that point, but you can't just rely on everything else. You need to add cold people back into your audience to constantly grow your community. And that's where ads come in. And so they're adding this cold market into this already warm ecosystem, speeding up that conversion phase so much quicker. And that's essentially how the digital marketing space and ecosystem works. Now, that's a lot. I hope you took notes, but it's a start. Now we're going to move into the sales funnel for social, right? Which is just going to break it down even more. Okay, cool. So this is your social media sales funnel. So it starts in the awareness phase, then it goes into the interest phase, followed by engagement, followed by sales, followed by loyalty and building that loyal long-term customer. So let's start in awareness. Now, this is where about 94% of your traffic just lives. It doesn't really move down. 94%, just is aware. And that's fine. That's actually what we want, because we're going for a very specific type of customer. We actually only want 15% of this whole funnel, 15 customers a month, because, otherwise you're going to burn out. So let's just start with this, and as you grow your business, you can scale up your funnel. So awareness is just putting out a good piece of content that stands out against the noise that is the internet about your business, and doing that repeatedly, like let's say twice a week minimum, or twice a day minimum. Twice a day minimum. So that, and then from there, they just see your post enough, they garnish an interest. So now they're actively looking out for your posts. Okay. From there, you know, they've actively looked up your posts and they've started engaging. So that means, you know, they're liking, they're commenting, etc., etc., etc. And once they do that, we take that conversation and we see, oh, this person has, you know, engaged with my post like 20 some odd times. Let's reach out to them, right? Through a DM, through a direct message. They followed, they liked, they commented, they've been doing it for at least 20 times. Let's DM them and say, hey, thank you for following me, thank you for liking my event posts, etc., etc., etc. That's where you try to convert them into sales, right? That's where you have that conversation with them, maybe meet them for a coffee or something like that if they're in your area, and have that sales conversation, and that's about 35%. And then of that 35%, it's going to cut down about roughly in half to a long-term loyal customer that's buying from you repeatedly. So every time you go through this, you know, assuming you've done this right, you've set this up every, you know, let's say 1 to 3 months, you're getting 15 new customers religiously, and long term. We're not talking short term. We're talking long term customers. Okay, so that's the way to break down this sales funnel, right? And it sounds this was very broad strokes. This was very open, right? I'll have more videos on sales funnel development and generation, but this way at least gets you started to know what you need to start doing and put you on the right path. Okay. That being said, digital marketing is such a powerful tool, but it takes time like anything to learn. So don't feel pressured. Just know you're on your way. You're doing the best you can, and you're building something great for yourself. Now, if you are interested in support, like I said, check out the Toronto studio if you're in the area. You know, we do work with some, you know, other clients outside the area, and we'd love to help you build your dream, because that's what we are. We're dream builders here, and we can give you structure and support to help you build your dream. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you all again in my next video.